Welcome to a 2v2 on Einhoven Country. Already gave my first impressions of this map. How many times have I cast on this map? Twice now or just once? Or maybe like quite a few times. I'm pretty sure this is the second 2v2. I think I've cast 1v1s on it a couple times. What do people think about this map? Do you think that it should be in Star-Crossed Kings? I'm thinking about it. It feels a little big for a 1v1. I like the layout though. It feels pretty balanced, right? In 1v1 and 2v2, I'm not sure what I think about it. I don't know, I think it's worth giving it a shot. It is an auto match, and the whole point of Star-Crossed tournaments are to emulate auto match, so that would be appropriate. I think I'm going to throw it into the rotation, maybe switch out Langerskaya, because I don't really like Langerskaya that much. I don't know, I have to think about it. This game is going to be Ice and FuzzySlayer playing as Double Osterre in the south versus RedDoorKnob and BlueDoorKnob. I wonder if they know each other. I'm sure that's just coincidence. Playing as mixed allies in the north. Recon support already logged in, and the Soviet players going with Lend-Lease, Armored Assault, and Urban Defense, which is a pretty weird loadout. It's kind of, it's weird in the sense that they're all like pseudo-viable commanders, but he didn't like bring a safety commander. Usually you expect like shock rifle or guard motor to be thrown in the mix with two weirder ones. That's what I've come to expect anyway. So, Axis players bringing double Jaeger armor, double lightning war, and then close air support or mechanized assault. So pretty standard stuff from the Axis this game. Pretty popular picks. Jaeger armor in particular quite popular to field in 2v2. And we saw an elephant strategy get shut down pretty hard last time I cast on this map by M10 spam, but since there are no M10s available to the allies this time, medium armor swarms will not be quite as prevalent. We might see a decent amount of Soviet call-in spam though. Got Armored Assault, M4C Shermans. If he goes Urban Defense, if he were going to go Urban Defense, I think he would have done so by now. I want to see somebody go Urban Defense and set it up in this house. I bet Urban Defense in this house, like crazy aggression, could be fun. Against Osterre, I'm sure it wouldn't work at all though. I could see why he wouldn't pick that against double Osterre. Just get mortared to death in the first minute and then you'd like lose. But against double OKW, I think it could at least be fun to attempt. You'd have to set up a really aggressive forward HQ right there. Or if you wanted to be more casual about it, I guess you could throw it in this building. But that's no fun. Early engagement seemed to see the map splitting in half diagonally this way, which is pretty much what you expect here. And then engagements centering around the center VP. Rifleman hovering over here with combat engineer support on the munitions. And then over here on the right side, Grenadiers taking control of the strategic point. Pyos grabbing the fuel over here. Bunker going up to protect an MG later, and then rotating over there towards the victory point next. Conscripts trying to close into short range for a flank on an MG over here. Two squads of riflemen moving up on the flank of that machine gun. They're gonna get suppressed. By another machine gun protecting the flank. Nice positioning on that second machine gun to protect the flank of the first, which has already been forced to retreat. That needs to get back to the front line as soon as possible. We're actually going to say a third machine gun. Pretty tier 1 heavy opening from Ice this game. Going with 3 machine guns is very risky. If you start letting them get stolen, it gets harder and harder to protect your team weapons because you have more of them to keep track of and you have less infantry. Like the ratio in your army of infantry to team weapons gets smaller and smaller the more machine guns you spam, so it's very risky. But on the other hand, it's very efficient. It's very manpower efficient because if they get wiped or decrewed, you can recrew them and only have to pay half manpower on the recovery of your losses. So it's a very manpower efficient strategy if you can keep them under your control. And it's a horribly manpower inefficient strategy if you start handing weapons over to your enemy. So it's kind of a risk-reward. It's like a high-risk, high-reward Osterre opening to get a ton of machine guns. His teammate FuzzySlayer going with Grenadiers only and now floating like crazy. I guess he's not maybe sure what he wants to do next. I don't know. He needs to start spending those resources, though. He's gone battle phase 1. Might want to transition to battle tier 2 and then start spamming Panzer Grenadiers or something, but he needs to get that manpower down if they're going to hold on to their cutoff and fuel. Already getting harassed over here on the right side by riflemen with their super duper vision bonus from Recon Company, which like isn't even that much. I can see like over there. It's like not even impressive. I don't get that ability. A Vet 2 scout car with spotting scopes can see like across the entire map, but this doctrinal like forward observer thing doesn't even really seem to do anything other than put a cool Eye of Sauron rotating over their heads. This bunker was never upgraded with a machine gun since it doesn't look like the Axis were able to collect quite enough munitions for that. Medic bunker here in the base, both bases, that might be overzealous. They probably could have shared one. This will be faster, obviously. Don't know if that's the most efficient thing, though. That squad will be forced to retreat right there. Grenadiers making their way out of FuzzySlayer's base again, finally, and it looks like he has indeed decided to go tier 2. Start transitioning into light vehicles and possibly Panzer Grenadiers next. No battle phase 1 from ISO. Kind of late anti-tank with US forces on the field. It's a little risky, but the Allies have not fielded any light vehicles yet. RedDoorKnob fielding himself an ambulance before unlocking a captain, so no M20 rush against Oster. Against double Oster, I think an M20 rush could really help capitalize on an already pretty scary lead. MG42 set up on these conscripts, protecting each other's flanks. Will get that squad to retreat, fortunately. And there's a mortar on the field now as well. But we're looking at a 4-team weapon 2 Grenadier opening, plus a medic bunker. So that is so much manpower on tier 1 units, leaving him quite vulnerable to light vehicles. What is that conscript squad doing, though? If he doesn't pay attention, he's going to lose that. I don't know if that's going to get away. Maybe. Nope. Grenadier squad snipes him. 2 squads of conscripts over here going to try their luck. Machine gun pointed right at this road, though. I don't know what he's thinking here. Immediately gets suppressed. Terrible engagement for the BlueDoorKnob. RedDoorKnob doing a little bit better here on the right side, keeping this containment going, but the half track with Grenadier support will maybe be able to push him off the field if those Grenadiers can get Fausts off on that ambulance or something. He needs to get out of red cover, though. Get out of that red cover. Oh, it's taking so much damage so quick. What was he thinking? Let a lot of manpower right there during that. A couple conscript squads continue to hover and take territory in the left, 2 in the base, 1 idle on the fuel, 1 moving to take control of the victory point, giving the Axis a lot of room to breathe over there on the left side. We're going to see a pretty aggressive push, by these riflemen forward from the ambulance, but they will be forced to retreat immediately thereafter. They did just wipe that Pio squad, forced to retreat from this 2-man Grenadier squad. Panzer Grenadiers are on the field, making their way to the front lines to try and assist against the American player right here. Only one of the original 4 rifle squads currently remains by the ambulance. 2 of them have been wiped. 2 rifle squads wiped in this red cover road. Get out of the road. I don't know how people can engage in red cover and think that that's... I mean, just go this way. Red cover is so dangerous. You will go down so quick. Anti-tank grenade on that half track with nothing to follow up. Terrible play. Just walks up and takes a bunch of manpower bleed, then is forced to retreat, exposing his ambulance to extreme danger. That's going to be destroyed. And he might actually steal this. I think he's going to steal the ambulance. Yes, he will recover the ambulance after the medics get out and retreat, so ambulance will fall under his control. Meanwhile, over here on the left side, no engagement really going anywhere for Ice, who, having gone with a team weapon strategy, is not really being very aggressive. He needs to leapfrog his machine guns forward, covering each other, if he wants to get more territory under his control. A lot of this territory completely undefended. He has a lot of opportunities to do that, but for now, the only infantry movements he's executing are his Grenadiers, supported by his scout car. The scout car does provide vehicle cover, by the way, so something to consider if you're supporting your grenadiers in an engagement with your scout car. You can move your scout car up laterally and then put your grenadiers behind it if you want to engage a little bit more cost effectively. Kind of a fun tactic. Nobody really does it, but it, you know, it's worth a try. It's worth at least trying to pull off. That is a thing that is in the game that nobody does. That might be fun to see once in a blue moon. Vehicle cover. Wait, what's Stuart that suicided itself? Did I really watch the Stuart kill itself on screen and I wasn't even paying attention? I didn't even see that happen, really? There's a dead Stuart where? Not that I'm like super surprised. Oh, yes there is. There's a dead Stuart right there. Apparently I missed that. Okay. There's a dead Stuart right there now. Oh, it was on attack map. Damn, I missed it. Shame on me. Worst caster. I did see the ambulance getting stolen though. Although they already have a half track, so like, it's nice for healing. Nice for AoE healing. That's not something you normally are able to get access to as Axis. Scout car over here on the left side just took engine damage from conscripts and will probably be destroyed as long as that captain can get in range for some bazooka shots. Ooh, both of them missed. He might be able to get to safety. He's got to keep going. One more AT grenade could seal the deal, or just small arms fire. Bazooka shots continue to miss. There's another one. Wow, is this really gonna get away? Allies are forced to disengage away from the base bunker, and that scout car gets away by the tiniest sliver after 4 consecutive bazooka shots do not connect. Over here on the right side, I think a flamethrower just popped. And FuzzySlayer will continue to maintain control of the right side fuel, victory, and munitions points with this squad of Panzer Grenadiers. We're gonna see a Soviet sniper fielded. Starts picking off those Panzer Grenadiers at range. And these squads of Allied infantry are rotating around towards the left side munitions to try and get that back under control. And again, I feel that ICE is being a little passive with his team weapons. He could move them up into slightly more aggressive locations. Look how undefended all this is. I do like that he's being cognizant of the victory points with his infantry, making movements over towards the left side, but most of his army is just kind of idle. And a little close together. I don't think it's necessary to put these two machine guns this close to each other like this. He could probably start leapfrogging them up a little. He does kill that medic on the retreat. Pretty late retreat on those rear echelon troops. I don't even know if they're going to survive. And the captain's going to retreat as well, despite not even being suppressed, I don't think. He just wants to retreat, I guess. Oh, takes a big mortar hit in his retreat path. Sniper working on the munitions point. He's standing unsupported in red cover with no vision at all of anything. Anywhere. Like there could be anything in the fog of war. He's just asking to die right now. Allied infantry squads moving to take control of the strategic and munitions points up here. The ambulance is just kind of hanging out by all of the team weapons for now. Guess he's not really sure what to do with it. He's just like, well, I have an ambulance now. I guess. 222 is still awaiting repairs here in the Axis base, and we're going to see Battle Phase 2 from ICE. Nothing from FuzzySlayer yet. We've got close air support. Interesting decision to go Battle Phase 2 with close air support. The nice thing about that, Commander, is that you can sort of pick and choose exactly how far you want to tech up. You can try and make it work with any tier. We've seen Battle Phase 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 3, tiers 2, 3, and 4, whatever you want to call it, with close air support in both tournament and non-competitive play. So, clearly, an incredibly versatile commander, which is kind of one of the neat things about it. Rifle squad rounds that corner and walks into a giant blob of grenadiers. Immediately has to retreat. Sniper just... Sniper was either not being monitored or just didn't expect to die that quickly. That grenadier volley connects way too quick and the sniper is melted immediately. Meanwhile, the two squads of grenadiers working the left side are completely unopposed for right now. A second sniper just retreated from something, I don't even know, and the US player has gone for a pack howitzer after taking captain. I don't know if he's taken very many squad wipes. Yes, he has. He's lost 2 full squads of riflemen, so of his original 5 squads of riflemen, he's now down to only 3 remaining. Having picked recon support, we might be looking at a Greyhound at some point. He hasn't fielded one yet, though. Went Stewart instead. Conscripts charging the Grenadier force over here. Win the engagement, thanks to the supporting flamethrower. And it looks like the American player is going to send everything he owns in a giant blob straight to the left side with what little remains of the Soviet army. I feel like this is overzealous. The left side is defended by only 1 scout car and a bunker. They're going to lose control of the entire map while they execute this maneuver. The Axis could go take the strategic points right outside the Allied base if they felt so inclined, and the pack howitzer is woefully vulnerable. Look how easily this plump of infantry could just walk up and kill that thing. If that got stolen, it would be catastrophic. The machine gun bunker will shut down a push by those 2 squads of conscripts. The 222 will be destroyed by bazooka fire. Apparently they got promoted immediately before bursting into flames, so I hope that makes them feel better about their current fiery state. Machine gun bunker needs to be flanked by the captain. Once he blows that up with the bazookas, they'll be able to get the left side victory point back under control, but that bunker's buying quite a lot of time since the American players is walking around in one giant group of units. Pack howitzers moving up to fire on the bunker over here, I guess. Bazookas. He really needs to utilize the bazookas to just get rid of that bunker. What is he doing? Rear echelon troops take control of the strategic point, and as predicted, the pack howitzer gets caught way out of position. Sort of. I guess not, really. But the retreat path is compromised for the Allies. All wounded squads have a significant chance of being wiped on retreat. Close air support and anti-infantry strafe could shut this down so hard. Maybe, I don't know. If they just retreated to the major, maybe they would be fine. But the Oster mortar didn't get aggressive. This would have been a really good time for some machine guns and mortars to move up and support the half-track and completely push the Allies off the map. They didn't fully commit to a push, so now they're going to be pushed back. The American player, as you can tell, is fully committed to this offensive. There's really no turning back for him. All of his forces right here on the in this engagement. If he had taken sufficient pressure from mortar fire, machine gun suppression, whatever, anti-infantry strafe, he probably would have either taken catastrophic losses or made a full retreat, or both. So kind of a shame the Axis didn't find a way to capitalize on that by mobilizing the full force of their army to that engagement, since the entire rest of the map has no Allied forces anywhere at all. Grenadiers working on the left side strategic point. We'll get that under control. Captain will be made to retreat.
Capture complete. Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
And the American player is going to pull back to his retreat point while his Sherman rolls onto the field. 18-minute Sherman's a little bit on the late side. Axis counterparts should be getting here any second. I don't know why FuzzySlayer is floating 300 fuel, though, and most of his army's sitting here in the base. He needs to throw up Battle Phase 2, maybe Battle Phase 3. Start thinking about Panthers. Start thinking about... Ooh, anti-tank strafe just nailed that ambulance. Rifle grenade on the pack howitzer. Clears that. Sherman's a little late to the party. And now the Allies have been completely forced off the field. He loses his ambulance, doesn't take very significant infantry losses. There's another squad of riflemen on the field as well. Not floating a whole lot of manpower. Sometimes you see recon support float manpower so they can go with the airdrop combat group, but apparently he would rather have riflemen than paratroopers and AT guns, even after hitting 7 command points. And he hasn't fielded a single squad of INR Pathfinders, which seems like it would have been a pretty good idea against this. Look at this. There's so many juicy artillery targets, there's more than I can count. Well, that's probably not true. I can probably count to like 8. I could probably figure it out.
Good fucking hit.
But that's a lot.
We're at 200
I think
points.
Pathfinders would have been a good call. Most munitions going into BAR upgrades, though, on his rifleman. So kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I think about his usage of his commander, which is basically not at all. I didn't see him field Pathfinders or Greyhound or the combat group or recon run, so it kind of makes me wonder why he locked it in instantly at the very beginning of the game. BAR blob firing at these grenadiers. Rifle grenade into the blob. Ooh, that could have connected a little better, I guess. That wasn't that bad. Grenadiers trying to move into cover, but they're gonna get overwhelmed and forced to retreat very soon. Panzerschreck's trying to blow up the cover. Mortar landing on the position. Oh, that Panzerschreck hit just sniped 2 riflemen. Wow. Ouch.
Squad is back to full strength. 90-day wonders. Fall in. Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys.
Pio's taking control of the left side strategic point. T-34-85s have been fielded by the Allies here, and this sniper has been on the field forever, but he's only got 3 kills. Just goes to show how important it is to position your sniper. Oh no, he stood his Panzerschreck squad way too close to that Teller mine, and he loses the Teller mine to tank fire. Doesn't seem like it matters that much, though. The sheer quantity of anti-tank weaponry with Panzerschreck support right here is death for that T-34 to be diving into right now, and it goes down like it's nothing. Whoa, that was loud. Sturmovik connecting with the half-track a little bit, does some minor damage, but it's nothing too serious. As long as he pulls out of the strike zone, he should be fine. And it ends right there. They really need to make that line clearer. Sometimes I straight up just cannot see it. A lot of mines over here. Look at this wire fortress. I find that amusing. Grenadiers wiped that conscript squad, which stuck around way too late. I don't know why that minesweeper squad is leaving. It needs to sweep up these mines. But okay, Grenadiers do take control of the east area, and a Tiger is on the field here. Lightning Ward chosen by FuzzySlayer, giving him access to the Stuka close air support during that engagement, which should definitely help take on the IS-2, by the way. And of course, ICE has access to the anti-tank strafe to fire on the IS-2 if necessary. The Grenadiers are going to leave their position in the south to be safe from that IS-2. That's now the biggest threat on the battlefield. Unfortunately, those 2 T-34s died immediately without accomplishing anything. Hopefully this IS-2 will do a little bit better. I think it's the right decision to work the flanks on this map if you don't think you can crack a heavy axis defense in the center. Mines, AT weapons, tons of machine guns, half-tracks to reinforce out of, a stolen ambulance, a Tiger. A lot of tools in the center here for the Allies, or for the Axis to defend and hold and lengthen the game to get their stronger late-game units out. Sort of. I don't even know if I think the Axis have that strong of a late game anymore. Or even if they ever have. Oster has a pretty solid late game. The Soviet late game obviously is extremely powerful, and then no. Americans pretty good. Jackson buff is definitely a nice thing to have against those Tigers. This BR blob. Look at this. Come on, at least pretend to like use cover and not just walk around in one group like this. Whoa, what was that? What was that? I don't even know what that was. There was some sort of like huge explosion over there. It was scary. Oh, it was a tiger shot. The tiger shot at the blob of riflemen and all these gas barrels like exploded. Look at the fancy heat graphical effects. That's kind of neat. I'm intrigued. I didn't even know what happened. Panther over here on the left side from Ice, who has made it to tier 4 despite having chosen close air support. I don't know how frequently he's been using redistribute resources, but clearly Axis map control is excellent. Not only do they hold one of the fuel points and 2 fuel caches, a lot of strategic points. I guess their map control is not that excellent. It just looks excellent because they are currently going to hold both of the victory points. But resource-wise, I guess it's actually pretty even. Axis are up to 32 fuel coming into the Allied 26 because of the 2 fuel caches. That just goes to show how important caches are in team games. If each teammate spends just 200 manpower on throwing up a cache, which clearly is being floated regardless, just look at these resource numbers, it gives your team a huge advantage. In team games, caches are so important. And the bigger the team game, the more important they are. I think it's perfectly viable to build caches in 1v1, which just go like, if that assertion is true, then caches in team games must be like borderline a requirement. Bio squad gets wiped by the top mount machine gun by the IS-2 right there. It's trying to make an aggressive maneuver against that Panther. Needs to be careful. He doesn't know where there might be teller mines. He doesn't want to get nailed by target weak point or something. If that Panther would just pull back to a safe location. Anti-tank strafe getting called in, but I don't know if that's going to connect. No, that's way off target. As long as that IS-2 keeps moving, he's in no real danger. And that Panther needs to pull back to the safety of the pack, but he keeps getting crew shocked. Finally, he breaks the stun lock and is making his way to safety. But it doesn't matter. The Sherman, Jackson, and... Is it dead? Oh, okay. It said abandoned, but it was already out of control, so it didn't make any difference. Anti-tank gun didn't move up into the engagement in time. Way too slow to move that thing into support. FuzzySlayer does not have the munitions for super close air support to support in this engagement, and the left side victory point is falling, which is good because the Allies are only at 78 points remaining. If they don't make something happen over here, they're going to lose. But all Axis forces will be forced to retreat from this area. Hopefully the Allies will be able to get that victory point and fuel under control so they can mobilize a new assault on the center or right. I feel like that bar blob is just going to walk right, like, if your entire push gets shut down by one bunker, you need to split your forces up a little bit more. Look at this. Look, see, he just had to make a full retreat. A full retreat. All the way back to base, because he box selected his entire army and right-clicked the bottom right victory point. Come on, RedDoorKnob. At least, like, tech smoke grenades or something. Or smoke grenade research.
Listen up. Here's the deal.
Snipers are in danger. What are they doing? They need to kite, not get closer to the Grenadiers. Oh my god, that one's in red cover. He just lost a sniper and a half to Grenadiers standing at medium range. Now a Greyhound has been fielded. Apparently he decided he was ready to make use of doctrinal features. The Tiger just blasted the mortar. Friendly fire. Greyhound takes out the half-track trying to get back to safety, but Panzerschrecks and Panzerschrecks are not going to let that thing get away. This blob of riflemen is not going to experience any more success against the Tiger than it experienced against that MG bunker. Brute forcing their way into the capture zone to do what they can. Oh, teller mine being planted. IS-2 just ran over a teller mine with Pyos still standing on top of it. I'm not sure if he was paying any attention to that. Anti-tank strafe. peppers both of these tanks a little bit, bringing them down to about half. The Tiger is disengaging because he doesn't want to go down to the Jackson and Sherman. The Sherman gets destroyed by anti-tank gunfire, and the Panzerschrecks follow up with a volley on the Jackson from behind. And all Allied armor has been destroyed in this last-ditch attempt to take control of the center, and while they do slow the clock ever so briefly, they take far more losses than they can afford. And I'm pretty sure we're looking at the end of the game. Well, I think I can make a few comments about this game, where basically I feel the U.S. Forces player didn't really make that much use of his doctrine until it wasn't that relevant anymore. I would have liked to see some of the changes to the Greyhound, but unfortunately it barely made an appearance on the field, so that was a bit of a shame. Didn't use Pathfinder artillery at all to try and crack open the defense in the center, and every time he did push for the right side, it was doing it in one big clump like this, and every single one of his pushes got shut down by a single strafe, single bunker. So easy to stop this. I mean, when people talk about blobbing being too strong, I think what they mean is like slightly more effort being applied than this. This kind of blobbing is clearly not strong at all. This kind of blobbing is clearly terrible and does not work. So you really need to split your forces out to avoid AoE suppression. And if you absolutely insist on blobbing this hard, make sure to use on me. That can at least help. Other than that, I think the Axis could have been a little bit more aggressive with some of these team weapon positions. He obviously didn't want to overextend and get too risky and start losing team weapons to his opponent, but there were points where I really felt that there was undefended territory here in the north, and they could have pushed and capitalized on their early advantage and tried to base lock their opponents and end the game even earlier. And I also think that working the flanks was too low of a priority for both sides. Not that many forces really dedicated to the flanks at any time to attack or defend. The flanks are a big part of this map, and working on them is going to be critical to victory, I think. As we see strategies on this map evolve over the coming weeks, it's going to come very much about working the flanks in conjunction with a strong defense in the center. But it's all about adapting to what your opponent is doing, and I think when you see a really scary defense in the middle, you mostly just want to pound it with artillery rather than making frontal assaults and then buy yourself time and counter-harass and whittle away at your opponent's forces by making big flanks on the sides, because with a map this size, you have a lot of counter-harassment potential with units like Ostwinds, Shermans, Panzer IIs, the list goes on. So, that's my thoughts on the game. GG. Axis wins.